Hey Libra, it's Empress Rose here. Welcome to your reading. General reading. Take what works, leave what doesn't. Just pick what resonates for you, what makes sense for you. Hopefully you find something useful here, a new way to reframe something, a different angle of looking at it. Of course, especially in these general readings, we're using our own discernment to see what relates to us and what doesn't, but definitely not trying to make anything fit. Sometimes you might hear something that doesn't make sense to you right now, but in a couple days or a week, you'll be like, oh, I guess that's what that's about. Okay, so underlying the whole reading, overall, we have Four of Wands. We have a leveling up here. So Four of Wands is sometimes an engagement card. It's just taking something to the next level, which is what engagement kind of is, right? And then planning and building on that. Solid foundation. So we already have a solid foundation set, and we're considering or thinking about, or this reading may be about, Four of Wands, moving forward with something, a commitment to the next level. Past, present, inner landscape. What's the issue? Environment, to-do list, possible outcome. All right. Wow, we've got all four of them. This is like the magician's table here. We've got all four elements here. We have one of my very favorite cards and also one of my least favorite cards in the whole deck. I'm looking at you, Reverse Emperor. I don't mind an Emperor. I hate a Reverse Emperor, though. So, Four of Wands, we're thinking about leveling up, and we've got some indication here. So, Ace of Pentacles, one of my favorite cards. We've begun something. In reality, we're seeing it. We're seeing results. We're seeing the beginning of something. We're seeing something sprout. We planted seeds. We planned. We got inspired, we planned things, we purchased things, and here the seed sprouted. This is possibly one of my favorite Ace of Pentacles cards out of all my decks, because this one, we see all of the work that's gone in, all of this intention coming up, all of the work that's already been done. You've already done some work, the earth's already done its work. We're co-creators, which is what the magician is, this real acknowledgement of co-creation with the universe. As above, so below. We're creating something, we're imagining something, we've been inspired by the divine or just by our own creativity, and then we've been able to dig into the dirt and start something happening. Love this card. So you have seen some fruits of your labors already at this point, because the fruits of the labors came in the past. So something was successful, it successfully came up, it sprouted, it's growing. You've just started, but look at you now. Oh my goodness, Libra, you got the Nine of Pentacles, right? We start in the recent past. Yeah, you did start something. And before we even get to this part here, there's just so much. That's why I love this card. There's just so much behind it. There's so much. It wasn't a surprise that this came up. It was expected because of all the work you did. And half the time we do this work and it's just, who knows what's going to happen? Who knows, if anything comes up. Not all seeds germinate. We can plant as much as we want, but not all of them are going to come up. In fact, a good gardener plans for not all of them to come up, right? We plant 3 seeds at once, not 1 seed at once, because we know several of our efforts, we know the statistics here, a bunch of our efforts aren't going to do anything, aren't going to make anything. We can, we can have a lot of sex, but that's not always going to result in a baby, or even everyone getting what they need from it, right? It's not always the case, right, that things happen in reality. So it's very exciting to see something actually coming up in reality. And then we have, and of course I'm blushing, which I always do when I talk about sex. I don't know why, because I still talk about it. So we have Nine of Pentacles. So this is very successful. You've been successful by yourself here. And so this is a Nine of Pentacles is very independent success. Like you've created something. It's not that you haven't learned. It's not that you haven't had mentors. It's not that you haven't had teachers. It's not that you haven't, had taken classes or done anything. It's not that kind of solo success, right? Our Nine of Pentacles, she's still, even in the more traditional Rider-Waite look, where it's this proprietress on her orchard having some kind of harvest, right? But she still has employees. She didn't do the whole orchard herself. She's hired people. She's made business decisions and important choices. And the fruits of her labors are here. But with the Nine of Pentacles, it's not the full fruits of the labors. It's not that the season's over. It's not that the wine is made and now you're out hawking it internationally to clients all over the world. It's that the grape harvest is here. So I really like this because that's what the Four of Wands is referencing, is not even necessarily a halfway point, right? We've got a 10 of Wands. We've got 10 Wands here. We're at 4 of Wands. But this is some kind of harvest. Like, you saw it come up and you harvested. Look, she's got a whole hat of stuff here. She grew this, maybe not completely solo, but she grew it, and it was her idea, and something has come to fruition. So I like this Four of Wands referencing that something came to fruition, but there's still much more ahead. So seeds were planted, seeds grew, something came to fruition. This is very exciting. This could be related to work, especially with the Pentacles here. So something related to work, or just something you've worked on. Could be a hobby. I'm not getting strong relationship vibes off of this, but it could be relationship. Something that you've worked on and you actually like saw the fruits of your labors. I really like it. I love the Ace of Pentacles sitting next to the Nine of Pentacles. That's really cool. It doesn't necessarily mean that the success was quick, but it does mean that success has happened and you have succeeded somewhere, right? And so this isn't like the wine isn't ready, just the grapes are ready for harvest. So something's ready for harvest, something you've succeeded in one aspect of this. In your hopes, your fears, your inner landscape, a desire to fight for what you want. We have another wand here, Seven of Wands. This is fighting for what you want, maybe even fighting for the freedom. This card in particular on this deck, I hear the Beastie Boys, you got to fight for your right to party. Like, can you hold space for this? Is basically holding space for something that you want. This is freedom. This is, not being trapped by something, just fighting for what you believe in, fighting for what you want. And so there, you may be afraid that you're not going to have, maybe you're afraid that you don't have the strength to continue on to the whole winemaking process. Like, you kind of gave all your strength to the growing process, and now we have the processing process. And are you going to maintain the strength to do that? Are you going to be able to continue to on this whole process into the next level? You may have some concerns and some worries about that. You don't know if you can. You want to keep going on this. You don't want to like have this whole grape harvest and then just not do anything with it and just be like, okay, well, I succeeded this far and I only came this far to come this far. So there's a sense of, I didn't come this far just to come this far, is what I'm getting off this top row here is, but you're worried, you might be worried that you're not going to have the energy, you're not going to have the ability for the next part, for the next level, right? Because this is all about hitting a new level. And you've been successful with something, but you may be having a lot of concerns over whether you can, right? This is a commitment to the next level. And I'm seeing in the Seven of Wands in your hopes and fears is, can I go to the next level here? Do I have the time? Do I have the energy? Do I have the strength to keep going here? So you may be very worried about, okay, well, we know that I'm good at growing grapes. That's cool. I'm good at growing grapes. Am I good at making wine though? That's the next question. And do I have time to make wine while I'm also, dealing with the vineyard for next year? Am I also going to have time and energy to do this other thing? So you're wanting to make space for something, but you're not sure that you can maintain this success. What's at issue here is Boo, the Emperor in reverse. This can be someone who's a control freak, he's a bully, but in the reverse so far, I'm just seeing like kind of you in a way competing against yourself, or like, can you fight? This is like, can you fight for what you want? You've succeeded so far, but can you continue fighting for this? This Emperor in reverse could be a person that's very controlling. It could just be a vibe of just you not knowing. you not feeling like you're in control, you not feeling like you're in charge of this journey at all, not feeling like you have a say, feeling powerless. There's a sense that even though you've accomplished so much, there's also a sense of powerlessness. I mean, especially with this Four of Wands here, someone else has to agree to go to the next level with you. You can't just, in the Four of Wands in particular, you're not just leveling up by yourself. So far, if it's just up to you, you can do it. If it's just up to you, you can level up, you can grow the stuff you need to grow. If it's just you doing it, you working on it, it's like, if it's just you writing the novel, you can go from idea, write the whole thing, edit the whole thing. The problem comes in when you want to publish. You have to find a publisher, and that is where you don't have a lot of control, and you're not sure, right? A lot of creatives don't have the strength, the stamina, the ability to do the other parts, which is, right, because that's what I guess I'm seeing is like one part of the work is done. There's another part coming here. Like, can you do you have the ability, do you have the strength to go find, you know, our metaphorical publisher or the person that's going to work with you? And that may feel, you may feel a little powerless here, right? If it's just you showing up and doing the work and growing your grapes, you're good. You can do that. We know you can do that. But it's this other aspect of sort of like, if we're talking about the metaphorical novel, it's the marketing, it's the you know, the part where you're asking and begging and asking for somebody else to want to take you to the next level. You can level it. It's like, in a way, like you've leveled as much as you can, you've done as much as you can by yourself. Now it's time to like hire a winemaker or something for the rest of the project, and you're not sure. There's just some sort of uncertainty about whether you have the ability to do something, the next thing, and it looks like it might involve somebody else, but you're not sure. You know, you don't have a lot of power and a lot of control over that part. So the Emperor could be a sense of helplessness, right? And especially this is where our fears of, can we even do this? Can we even make space for this? Can we do this next thing? Do we have the strength and stamina? And there's a sense, there could be a sense of powerlessness. Well, where I really don't like the Emperor is when it's an actual person, because this person is like power hungry. They're not trying to, you know, Nine of Pentacles has a little bit of Empress vibe. The Emperor in reverse, the Emperor, the worst parts of the Emperor are when they, you know, raid the Empress for what they need and then take off. The Emperor in the upper right is supposed to be protecting, you know, this is protecting the Empress, or protecting the bounty, protecting the earth, protecting the productivity, protecting all of that in that masculine, traditional, masculine, not traditional, because traditional often involves toxic type. Or fake masculinity. Real masculinity is going to be protecting the earth and protecting vulnerable, where you can, using that strength to protect. So this would be someone using their strength to destroy, using their strength to cut down. This could be a very bad boss that might like take credit for your work, you know, yeah, steal your labor, the fruits of your labors, take credit for your work, whatever. This could be someone that is placed into a powerful position and is not using it in a healthy, fair way. In your environment is strength. So again, we have this concept of strength. So your environment is asking you to involve your strength here. And one of the things about strength, about this card, is it's the inner strength. So I find it interesting that it's showing up in your externals. Should you actually be weightlifting, maybe? Getting strong physically, because this is in your environment. Your environment could be like really demanding that you stick with something, have the strength. If you have this impulse to quit something or cut and run, this is saying, override your impulses. That can be hard to figure out what's intuitive and what's impulsive sometimes, right? Those things feel sometimes very much similar. So it can be hard to see which is an intuitive, like, cut my losses and leave, and which is a, like, I just quit, I can't take this, right? So this is asking you, your environment, in your environment is strength. And there could be strength that you could access possibly in your environment. Like maybe you don't have to do all of this alone, and maybe there's something here that can loan you in your environment that's actually here to support you and to loan you some strength to get through something, right? Because there's two entities here. There's and normally we see this as our inner self, the lion, the wildness within, and then we see ourselves as the lion tamer, taming that wild within and controlling it for our higher purposes, right? We're thinking like, our mind is like, I want to accomplish this, therefore I'm going to have to keep going with this. So, and I'm going to override my natural instincts too, right? This is overriding some sort of natural instinct or sticking with something, really. Maybe your environment is requiring you to stick with something, even though we have this like out of sorts ruler that's like, I don't know why you would be asked to stay with that or endure that. So your environment's asking for some endurance here. And then we have your to-do list here is 10 of Cups. Oh, hold on. All right, so your to-do list is 10 of Cups here. This is being happy, enjoying where you're at, right? You've had these successes. You have accomplished something. Like you worked for this, you accomplished this. Enjoy it. Enjoy where you're at. So 10 of Cups is happiness, right? And then we're talking about this leveling up. So I would say like you have leveled up, right? You've done this whole leveling up thing here. You have had some successes. Your successes, enjoy them. That is a new level. So whatever level you're at, and maybe you don't know, you're like gathering strength for the next level. And there are some challenges in your environment asking you to remain strong. So nothing here is saying, whatever we're talking about here, we're saying nothing here is like quit. And there's not a single thing that's quit. There's like, you've actually achieved something and you should enjoy it. That is the level you're at, right? The engagement party. We're going to have an engagement party and we're going to enjoy it. There's this peaceful moment. There's this connection. There's life below. There's emotional satisfaction, deep emotional satisfaction and peace. So as a to-do list, this is like looking for, I'd say, opportunities to be grateful for to yourself, for what you've accomplished, to the universe, for what it's co-created with you as you've done this work, right? Because no one's just, right? We plant 3 seeds. We don't know which one's coming up, right? So that's up to forces beyond our control here. Forces beyond our control. So we're being grateful for that co-creation of what we have been able to create. We're being grateful for that. So we're not forcing ourselves to be cheerful and happy in the worst of circumstances. And there might be some sort of endurance game that you're playing here, which definitely most of the creative fields or a lot of creative fields and other fields, there's an endurance aspect to all of it. And this is what the field or whatever we're talking about here, it's asking for endurance. It's asking for you to it is something that requires endurance. So we have like so much success and so much happiness. What we have is fears about and success, happiness, joy. Just enjoy where you're at right now. Enjoy this, what you can. So keeping your focus on what has worked, keeping your focus on what you have accomplished, right? With 4 of Wands, we were already at like 4 levels here, right? We've already, like if we're talking about, usually it's in the idea of dating, but this could be definitely work. You know, you've met this person, you've been on multiple dates, then you've been on more dates, and then you went on a weekend away and you met each other's families, and now you're, you know, if we're taking the traditional trajectory here, and now you're at this engagement. So enjoy the engagement party. Don't worry about the wedding. That's the metaphor here. Don't worry about the wedding right now. We can worry about that later. Don't worry about the wedding. You know, don't worry about if you have enough money, if you have enough energy, if you have the stamina, right? We're in it for the long haul. That's the environment. You're in it for the long haul. So don't be so worried about all the things you can't control and the stamina. So right now, this is just so beautiful with the Ace of Pentacles, 9 of Pentacles, 10 of Cups, and this Four of Wands. It's really beautiful reading, and the only issue I'm seeing is like fears you may have of not being strong enough for something, or not having room for something or space for something, and not being able to control, and not feeling like you can really control the situation. So, but what you're being asked to do is enjoy what you do have. And just look for opportunities to do that, right? Look for opportunities for gratitude, for enjoyment, for peace. Looking for those opportunities and really enjoying those moments, because you've earned it. You've worked hard and you've earned it. So enjoy what you've earned. This is what this is. Like, you've worked hard, enjoy it. Enjoy what you've earned so far. The future is very uncontrollable, so you're not being asked to worry about it. So in the possible future, though, we have the Death card, which is really beautiful. Death is very generous. It makes way for new life. It makes way for new ideas, new concepts. Death comes up in our Kabbalah tree of life right here. We're moving from the heart of the matter to some sort of challenge here. This is the solar plexus. This is the tower. It can really, when the tower comes in, we're not necessarily seeing a tower here, but when the tower comes in, it undermines it can undermine our sense of self if we're too rigid as we approach it. But death is a very gracious, graceful transition. It's one of the easiest ways to approach a huge shift in your life, or any kind of shift. So it's the internal work that you do as life changes. You submit to death. You recognize that change is inevitable and that change is going to happen. So all these worries about not being able to sustain it, don't worry about it, because you're going to be very different when you meet your future. You're not going to be who you are today when you know, if we're talking about the metaphor of wedding planning, you're not going to be the person, which I've never planned a wedding. Just get married real quick there. Not advised, actually. So you're not, you're allowing for the situation to change, and you're understanding that in the future, there's something that you will roll with. You're going to roll with these punches. You're going to grow. You're going to change. This definitely talks about more of an internal change that eventually blooms externally, but you will be changed so that when you do meet the challenges of the future, you'll be different when you meet them. So you won't be who you are today. All of this activity will change you, and you'll be different when you meet the challenge. So you may be worried about not being up for the next part. This is saying you're going to be changing and growing throughout this whole process. So don't worry about not being up for the next part, because this is actually a very long process, and you'll be different when you meet the future. So this is about being a different person when you meet a future that right now seems maybe uncontrollable, maybe you know, you don't have a lot of say in what it is. You'll be different when you get there, though. So for now, you're being asked to enjoy the present, enjoy where you're at right now, enjoy all the work, the fruits of your labors, love this now. Yeah, things are going to change in the future, and you know what? You're going to change with them, and you're going to be a different person as you meet the future challenges. So let's grab a wild Kuan Yin here. Got two. That's interesting. Virgo got the same one as this one. Moved by the call, wild love of my own soul, I call upon you. I trust in the process of letting go. That's definitely what needs to be happening. See all these strings? We're letting go of that need to control, I think, or need to know. Or I trust in the process of letting go and the wild loving life calling me to my divine destiny. I trust in my fearless spirit. That's exactly, I think, what this is saying. Like, this trusting that you'll be able to meet whatever challenges come to you, because you're not going to be the same person when you meet those challenges. So right now, just enjoy where you're at. The future is, you're going to be able to take care of that when you get there. So moved by the call, change is in the air. Sometimes we take things for granted and forget to stop and realize how incredible the ordinary things can be. Especially like where you're at right now. Looks like there's some success here, and it's actually quite good. And you may have forgotten to be grateful for that. Growth does often seem improbable, yet it happens every day in many ways. So too is something growing in your life, as we have done in the past, that seems at the moment unlikely or impossible, yet it will happen anyway. Have faith, Trust your feelings and relax. Changes in the air. And that's exactly what this is. Changes in the air. Something is going to shift. Something is going to change, and you'll be able to meet it. So whatever worries you have about not being enough or not having the strength to meet this situation, this is like a long haul. This Ace of Pentacles, right? And this Nine of Pentacles, that's what I was getting earlier on, is like you've reached a marker, a point. Enjoy all of the fruits of your labors right now, and the future is coming, and it will be, it's going to involve some changes, and you'll be ready for them when they come. And right now, right, this is like the relationship is, if we're talking the metaphor of the wedding, the relationship is going to change. There's going to be, marriage. And if you're not, as a metaphor, and if you're not feeling ready for marriage right now, you're just feeling ready for the engagement, and that's okay, right? So the marriage, you'll change as you get to the next destination. So it will happen anyway. Have faith, trust your feelings, and relax. Change is in the air. So, all right, Libra, love that for you. We'll chat again later.